Okay, we built this greenhouse originally just for plants, and then I confiscated about half of it. It's a 20 by 40 foot greenhouse, as you can see, and the first half of the greenhouse has mostly vegetables in it that my wife grows. We have some fans that keeps the air moving. We have two on this side, one lower, one higher. And on the back end we have the same. We also have a section off half and half. There's grow lights in this half, and the other half of the greenhouse is regular fluorescent lights. Now what we had to do, it gets noisy over here, what we had to do is naturally put in electrical service, which is right here, and we also put in a propane gas line for the two 80,000 BTU gas heaters. There you can see the other two fans that are just circulating fans, and then we have three exhaust fans. Okay, for the aquaculture part of it, we have I have three tanks, 600 gallons apiece. I do have two pumps which pump the water out of the tanks. There's a lower suction drain valve and a higher one, as you can see there, skimming off the top. The water comes out of these two pipes, goes into the pump, and it goes into this 1,000-gallon radial flow filter. The radial flow filter comes inside. The inlet actually elbows up, which you can't see from here, towards the top of the tank, and over that is a 6-inch pipe that goes about 6 inches over that pipe that goes into the tank. And what happens is the water flows up, hits the bigger pipe, and then makes the flow go down, so all the waste goes down to the bottom. Then you can go ahead and get rid of the waste through this line. That's the waste line. Out of the radial flow filter, we have a pipe that goes to a rotary drum filter. The rotary drum filter is kind of like a wastebasket, which has a 70 mesh in it. Water goes into the wastebasket, goes out of the wastebasket through these two pipes into this next tank. When the screen or the basket gets full, there is a spray pump, high pressure spray pump, that sprays water onto the 70 mesh, which then flows out of this drain right there down into the waste line. This next tank is a tank that's basically is a biological tank. It has a bunch of K1 media in it. That's a bucket full of them. There's a cubic meter of the media in it. And then we have a air pump that pumps air into the tank and keeps the media agitated and floating and turning. What this tank does is that it grows bacteria, which eats the nitrites, and converts it into nitrates, which is less harmful to the fish. So basically it cleans up the ammonia and the nitrates in the fish system. It just started working fairly well. Right now it's got zero level of both nitrates and nitrites. This tank flows into this IBC tank, which is basically just kind of a leveling holding tank. It does have a pump on it, which pumps the water out of the tank, flows into this heat exchanger, which I haven't finished yet, and then back into the tank. So that way I can either cool or heat the water using a heat pump, which is mounted outside. Out of this tank, there is the drain line again in all the tanks. Out of this tank, the water flows through this 3-inch pipe and goes to each one of the tanks. The water flows through this line, through this valve, and then each tank has a UV light in it to further kill any bacteria. I do have a bypass valve, and this valve, blue valve that's up here, each tank has it, goes down into, sorry for the noise, into my species cones. You can see that line, the blue valve. It's coming out of my species cones, which look like Christmas trees. The water, I've got a pump from my holding tank that pumps water at 1800 RPM into the top of these cones. You can see on top there's blue venturis with pipes going into the top of them. The water flows in, the air gets pushed into the water to oxygenate the water. It's best to keep the water at 5% oxygen or greater. And as you can see, I have two air compressors. Well, they're actually oxygen generators. One is kind of homemade molecular seed, which operates at about 10 liters per minute. The other one's a medical grade oxygen concentrator, which runs about 3-4 liters per minute. And these go up again to the species cones and provides oxygen for the water. The only other systems that are in it is another regenerative air blower, which is this one. And this air blower provides the air for the air stones. They're 10-inch diameter air stones in each tank to, again, try to keep as much oxygen as you can. I do have some goldfish in this tank, and this tank is hard to see. It's kind of dark, but there's about 600 hybrid striped basses in this tank. When they get larger, I'm going to go ahead and move them from half of them from this tank to the next tank, and then as they get larger again, I'll take again fish, about a third of the fish from this tank and a third of the fish from this tank, and put them into the last tank. I do have kind of homemade automatic feeders. These are Moultrie pond feeders. I modified them with this nozzle to direct the feed into the fish tank. The fish are always hungry. And here's a kind of look at the piping. And if you watch here, the fish love to eat. It's like a feeding frenzy. Basically, it's just a 55-gallon bucket with fry food in it. Right now, the fish are about 3 inches. They started out at about 1 inch. Maybe a month into the fish, as far as having them in the tanks. You can see some of the fish just go across that white pipe. So that's about the size of the system, although there is one more tank, one more IBC tank outside, along with my heat pump. And that will keep, I haven't finished that yet, but there's a pump right there in the corner. And there's a flow switch that's going to hang underneath that UV light that will be put into the first tank. And if the water level goes low, it will pump water out of the outside tank into the inside tank. I keep the outside tank rather than just adding straight water, so that I can go ahead and get the water basically correct as far as calcium hardness and alkalinity and all the rest of the water properties. I do have a water test kit, a Lamont, and a oxygen meter, which I use daily. There is daily cleanup and checking that you need to do. So if you have any questions, give me a call. And that's about the size of it. That's my system. This is all hand built and designed by myself. My wife did help, but all the plumbing, electrical, the greenhouse build, the stands, were all done by us. Thanks.